This video is about debits and credits. I've taken this from the third chapter, Accounting Information System. It's a nice little paragraph. I have no idea why people don't read books anymore. And students, what they like to do is they prefer PowerPoints. And again, each to their own. But if your basics are not strong enough, you're going to have issues later on. And that's my main concern, especially in accounting. And especially if you later on you want to go ahead, do more advanced accounting and try to become a CPA. You guys can see the name of the book in blue up there, Intermediate Accounting, 17th edition. This is from chapter number 3. Let's read these two paragraphs and see what they're talking about. It says over here, the terms debit and credit, they mean left and right, respectively. So debit is the left side and credit is the right side. These terms do not mean increase or decrease, but instead describe, I got lost for a second, but instead describe where a company makes entries in the recording process. This whole sentence is very important. Why? Because people make mistakes. Students actually make mistakes, quite a lot of mistakes. They tend to assume, and don't make assumptions about things like accounting, or in general, just don't make assumptions about something like this. It's best to know what it is rather than assume about it. Debits and credits, they do not always mean increase or decrease. And that's why I've underlined this sentence over here in red, that these terms do not mean increase or decrease, but rather all it does, it tells you if it's the left side of the account or the right side of the account. Which one is the left? Debit. Which one is right? Credit. Okay. Then it says, when a company enters an amount on the left side of an account, it debits the account. It would do so because left side is called the debit, so we will say debiting the account, or the debit side has been debited, if you want to call it that. When it makes an entry on the right side, it credits the account. So if you input any information on the right side, that's, again, as we've mentioned before, it's the credit side. Now let's assume that you have a T account. You know what, let's not just assume, let me show it to you. Now, why do we call it a T account? Because it looks like a T. That's what it does. So let me just make a T. It might not be a perfect one. I'm just gonna, as you can see pretty well, my drawing skills are pretty bad. This is a T account. On top right here would be the name of the account. Let's say this is your cash account. Again, just an assumption. What is this side? This is the left side of the account, as you can see. So this is our debit side. What is this side? This is the credit side, or the left side of the account. Hence, it is the credit side. We don't need to write it over here. I've just written it over here to show you. Let's assume that the debit side is 100 and the credit side is 70. Now here it says, right over here, I'm going to underline in green, when comparing the totals of the two sides. So here the debit side is 100, credit side is 70. An account shows a debit balance if the total of the debit amounts exceeds the credit. If you don't like the word exceeds, that's okay. This is not an English exam. It's not an English exam. No one cares about the vocabulary right now. The only thing it matters, or the only time it matters, is if you see this word in a question, in a multiple choice, or in a general question, you don't know what it means, then it becomes a problem. Exceed means that it's greater than, that's it, that the total of the debit side is greater than the credit side. Over here, this is what we have. Our debit side is 100, our credit side is 70. We subtract them. Why do we subtract them? Because they're on opposite sides. So 100 minus 70 is 30. Now, where does that 30 go? That 30 goes to the debit side, or rather it is the debit balance of this account. And it will be the exact opposite. Let's say that We draw it on the T account. Excuse my drawing skills. I do apologize. Let's say this is our here, and let's say this is our other account. Let's say the account is named, and of course, I didn't leave enough to title it. Whatever the account is, it doesn't matter. Let's say on this side we've got 50, and what is that side? It is a credit side. You should be able to say that in your sleep. Let's say someone wakes you up, shaking you up. You know nothing. You should know that the uh, left side is debit and the right side is credit. So this right side over here is the credit side, and this side over here, where we're going to input 20, is our debit side. If we were to balance this T account, as you can see, 50 minus 20 is 30, but the question is, where does the 30 go? 30 always goes to the bigger side, which in this situation is credit right over here. And that's what it's saying in these blue lines over here, that an account shows a credit balance if the credit side is more than the debit side. And then it goes on to say in the next paragraph that the positioning of debits on the left and credits on the right is simply an accounting custom. Long time ago, someone decided that the left side of the account is going to be the debit side. That's what they called it, that's what they named it. And the right side of an account is a credit. And that's it. It could easily have been reversed, but nope. That's what the custom is. That's what we've been doing for a long time. And not just as something we've been doing for a long time, but rather now it has become a rule. Hence, what are debits and credits? They're simply sides where we record our transactions. It could go to the debit side, it could go to the credit side, depending on what account we're talking about. So once more, the debit side is the left side, the credit side is the right side. We'll talk more about this as we carry on.